Hello, is anybody out there? Hi, Beatrice. Just trying to fix my cam here. All right. So, how are you doing tonight, or at least this morning? Where are you coming? Where are you chatting from, Beatrice? So, Beatrice, might as well go ahead and start talking. That way, we start receiving my message here. So, there is a particular way how I like to perform. Excuse me. How I like to perform these tarot readings. So, whatever you do, don't type the question yet into chat because I like to try to figure it out using the universe. So, sure, get this interview here. There you go. All right. So this is what I want you to do. Are you still with me? Okay, that's perfectly fine. All right. So this is what I want you to do. I just want you to listen to the sound of my voice, and um, there's a way I like to have you communicate your question, or at least what you like to have clarity on. So, what I want you to do is I want you to just relax for a second, take a nice deep breath, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you are standing at the foot of a lake. The lake is super calm, it's peaceful, it looks like a gigantic mirror, and it's just so beautiful that you just feel like that you're right at home and then you feel safe, you feel tranquil. And all your problems are just withered away just by looking at this place. And in your hand, you're going to open it and you're going to see a nice smooth stone. That stone is going to be your question. Take that stone and throw it into the water. The water is the universe where you're throwing your question to it, And the ripples that it forms is the energy flowing from the universe to me to try to communicate to me. So we're using the universe to help communicate this information to me. Alright, while you're doing that, I'm going to choose the deck. Ooh, I just had a really heavy right side, so we're going to use the angel deck. Alright. Oh, already a card popped out for you. Alright. Put this deck here. Alright. So, looking at this first card that we just got here, um, and I pretty much follow the Rider Waite deck when it comes to um, referencing these cards. So the first one is relevant to the Three of Pentacles, which is this one right here. The Three of Pentacles is about not organization, but it's about teamwork, collaboration, um, and the Pentacles usually represents earthly type possessions. It could be a job, money, physical things, or earth related things, and that's kind of reason why it's an element of earth. The three usually symbols some type of creativity. So with the Three of Pentacles here, you know, even though it's not really showing much creativity, but they're showing the project is being created, or at least it's getting done with the help of other people. So you have teamwork there. You now have also the Five of Water. Now, the Five of Water is also known as the Five of Cups, and um, this usually brings on. Here it is. This usually brings on sort of like crying over spilled milk in a way. Let's see if I can try to get this into view here. Um, we see here the person sort of like hunched over. He's very tall, with a black cape on him. He's really focusing on these spilled cups that we have here down towards the floor. Now the thing is that he's like not really complaining, but he's just like very emotional. The fact that he has these three cups that are spilled over. There's two other cups here that are um, completely upright for him. That's like it's there. It's that they're perfectly fine. And also we see here the stream of water. The stream of water is sort of like your emotions, like your life force, so to speak. It's flowing and it's going under the bridge. So you kind of think of this term. It's all water in the bridge, and that's kind of why this card is kind of reminiscent to crying over spilled milk, because you have all these other opportunities, but you're still dwelling on the issue when it's probably really not that big of a deal. Then you have the Ten of Water. The Ten of Water is about having a full, happy relationship, like a family type relationship, right? So if we look at it right here, we see like a husband and wife with two kids playing, and they're just kind of like looking at this rainbow of cups. And this usually symbolizes that, you know, this is a happy time. This is, a successful family, successful emotions, and things like that. We also even have here the Four of Fire. And the Four of Fire is about getting, um, like a project completed. So uh, we see in this picture right here, we have four wands. I don't know if you can see this. I have my other webcam on right now, but we have the Four of Wands here. Um, and if I was to pull up the actual picture of the wands, that's what it looks like. And we show people, celebrating in the background. We have these four wands that are put up with this wreath that we have here, and then uh, you know we have these people celebrating in front of this house. So we kind of think about this, that you know maybe the project was building this house, having a successful home, therefore they're all celebrating about it. But there's always work that still needs to be done with it. But again, it's a huge celebration of this particular project. You also have here the Eight of Fire, which is also let's see here, which is also again the wands. I believe it's this card right here. No, that's seven. Where is it? Here it is. The Eight of Wands is about moving at a very, very fast pace. So, um, make sure I'm still connected here. I had some problems. Um, we see in the background that there is a lake of water, stuff like that. So this is kind of like in touch with you, like maybe the sensitivity of yourself, or maybe of just your thoughts. But um, fire is also, like your passion, so to speak. And but we have these wands facing downwards, and just as you put like a marble on a piece of wood that's slanted, it's going to start rolling in that direction. And with all these wands in place in the same direction, this usually signifies that things are just moving really, really quickly. And then we have the King of Air, which is also the King of Swords, and that's usually like a symbol of somebody who's like maybe super creative in their job, or just like a true leader in what they believe, or on how they create things. Now, looking at all these right here, um, I'm getting like a very small sense of not much of a question per se, but it's just, to me, it just seems that you're looking for more of a regular reading, perhaps. Like you're just wanting to um, maybe get like a general opinion about something, or maybe just general reading about yourself to kind of see where you're going, perhaps. Um, Let me pull out some more cards here, because I'm not getting too much information from this moment. And you're more than welcome to correct me if I'm wrong, Beatrice. Um, I feel that this is probably job related, perhaps. Um, Not just yet. I still like to try to figure this out, but I'm probably gonna have you tell me in just a second here. But I feel like this is probably job related, perhaps, or maybe something based on a career. Um, Something like maybe a passionate career, perhaps. And the reason why I say that, because first of all, we have these two Earth cards here. We have Three of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, and then we have these three Fire cards. You do have some. water cards here, which kind of signifies like your thoughts and emotions on certain things. Um, but I'm getting a sense that it's about like maybe you're passionate about something. Like maybe you're passionate about your job. Um, but man, it's coming up with a blank here for me. It's about a relationship. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and let me know what your question is? Because for some reason, these cards are telling me something else, and it's probably because these cards are trying to explain it in a different way. Um, let's see here. So I'm getting a little bit of conflicting cards here. Um, I'm getting stuff here in regards to like maybe something that you're feeling passionate about. Um, not a whole lot about relationships. So I want to know what's A's intention towards me. That's a really good question. So let's reanalyze this here for a second. So the thing that I'm getting here, first of all, because let's take a look at these cards here. I still feel that these cards are like a characteristic card. I was talking about like a general reading when I said this to begin with, and I feel that this is about you. You're a passionate person. Um, you work well with groups. Um, pretty happy person, I think, and you really don't dwell on issues. And that's why I kind of thought that I think and let me know if I'm you know saying this right about you perhaps about your characteristics um because like I said earlier that I felt that this is more like a general reading when I first saw this, and I had to draw more cards to try to figure this out. But um, and this is funny too because you have a three of Earth here, you have the four of Earth here. So you're a type of person that gets things done. King of Air, you're probably not much of a leader, but you're probably you're more of a creative person. Um, but you are super happy, and I feel that with this right here, this four of fire getting things done, but you have this eight of fire here. Um, you don't like to probably go think or you, it's not about moving fast or something like that or not moving fast enough. It's just more like you go at your own pace. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. Now, introducing these cards here, um, you have here this actually kind of makes sense. There's a conflict happening here. And the reason why I say that, let me see here. You got this five of wands. Now, we see here, we see here that the with the five of wands, and I can kind of see in my peripheral vision that you're kind of you're chatting a little bit. I just didn't want to look at what you're saying just yet because I didn't want to become biased in terms of what I'm trying to read here. But I see here five of fire, which if you look at the picture that I just posted, we see these people just kind of like not really much of a battle, but there's just a lot of chaos going on. Like not really many people know what they're doing, right? And these sticks are just kind of like going in these different directions. That's what the five of fire is all about. Then we have the five of earth, where the five of earth usually is about uh, not really looking for you're kind of like more towards yourself. Usually the five of pentacles, these people have suffered from a great loss, and we have this person, these two people walking in the snow, where one of them is trying to keep warm and the other one has a broken leg, but behind them happens to be a warm home or a church perhaps. But they're just kind of walking along. They're just minding their own business. They're just kind of content with what they are doing, and they have they just don't want to have to deal with other people. They're just kind of handling it themselves. So in other words, it's sort of like not getting help. Now, I feel that whatever this conflict is, um, you probably tried to work on this on your own with this five of earth. I mean, you probably got some help with it. It's not like a loss or anything. It's just more signifying that you really haven't um, looked for any help. And then we have the justice card, which is talking about fairness. You get what you deserve, kind of thing. Now, um, I feel like this is more like in tune of your situation. Um, and I know we haven't got to the part about you know what this person's intentions are, but I feel like that sometime ago, I'm not exactly sure when, you definitely had some type of conflict here. Um, the conflict brought maybe you feel just a little bit lonely about it, because maybe you feel like that only you can actually really handle it, so you didn't really look for help, which is not a bad thing in this case, because um, even with it being reversed, I feel that that you're kind of like a person who kind of really works hard for what you're doing, and you really believe that you get what you deserve. I think you really believe in karma a whole lot, which is what this justice card is about. Um, Now let me look into ask the universe about intentions about this particular person here, or at least this person, or at least the universe might give me some other characteristic cards about this person, which might help me get some answers here. You are creative. It's part of my job. Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what this Knight of Air is about. The Knight of Air, um, you know, or excuse me, the King of Air. The King of Air, again, it's about leadership, like a natural born leader. But in this case, it's reversed, so it's more like you rather kind of be a worker than you are a leader. Like you just want to be more of a creator than a leader, which I kind of relate to myself, because I rather you know be a creative position instead of going to meetings and figuring out how to work on projects and stuff like that. But and air is like the symbol of our thoughts, right? And creativity, because swords, if you're to add something sharp to an object, for example, like a chainsaw to a block of wood, that person can create something out of that block of wood with a chainsaw. So let's see here. Is this a work related person about this relationship? Like, is this like a work related relationship? And the reason why I asked that, because I'm not seeing anything here that's tying into any type of loving relationship. I mean, we definitely have these two water cards up here, but I feel like it's almost like whatever this relationship is, it feels like it's like a work like relationship, um, or at least it feels like that there's. I mean, if it was an actual loving relationship, I feel like there's no real true emotion here. There's definitely conflict here. We have the two of air. You know, there's um, it's funny actually to talk about conflict because we have the five of fire here, which is about conflict and competing goals, and then we have here the two of air, which is, you know, you're in a duality. You have to make this choice. Pull up that card here for you to kind of get a better representation. So this woman here, you know, she's sitting in front of this ocean, and the ocean is a good representation of, you know, her emotions, her feelings, her thoughts. But it's a double-edged sword for her. Like, she can't decide on what she wants. Now, um, then we have here the King of Earth. The King of Earth is about having everything. Um, you know, you're kind of born into having everything. He's your boyfriend, and I want to get some clarity on how I should take this relationship. I feel because yeah, I'm not getting any love cards here. Um, that's kind of why I'm saying, you know, if this is like a business relationship, because um, the only thing I have really close to um, you know, emotions and even that relationship are these two water cards. You do have a 10 of water here, which is about, you know, a successful life, you know, a successful, you know, family life for that matter, or a successful relationship. But these two are really just kind of more like in tune of your, like, your spiritual self. Like, you're just really happy about yourself, where things are, and you really don't dwell on things. I'm not seeing anything in terms of love relationship here. I'm really just seeing a lot of like just dealings. Um, let's see here. Again, I still think that these cards are really actually about you. I don't know why it keeps telling me about you. It hasn't really got anything about to Mr. A's um, intention, um, as you as you label this person. Um, but you're definitely in conflict with something. And you have this conflict card here, and you have this two of air here, and you're trying to make a decision of something. That's probably why you're here. Um, I think the universe is saying that you are. It's just really giving me a character. It's actually just kind of helping me understand who you are. The universe is saying that you are you are a hard worker. You're very passionate. You do have these other fire cards here. You usually try to take things on your own, and you definitely believe um, in your creativity. Since hence why you have this King of Air here. Um, not much of a leadership, but you really are um, really confident about your creativity. Um, but you are dealing with some things, you know, some conflicts where you feel that you don't have um, you you feel that you probably don't have like everything. You know, like usually the King of Earth is about having everything there. Like you're born into everything, that you have everything that you can possibly want. But um, with it reversed, it could also mean, at least this is what it means to me, that sometimes you feel that you don't have everything. You're like there's like an emptiness there. Something's missing in this puzzle, in order to make you feel complete. Um, I don't like to lead, but I frequently just fall into that role. You fall into the role of leading. I mean, I've that happened to me before, and I turned down I've turned down maybe like a number of leadership roles, like supervisor, lead positions like that. I just don't like it because I feel like that, you know, at least with me, you know, I prefer to create because that's where my energy comes from. Um, but yeah, I can understand that if you fall into that role, you should probably take, you know, more strength in terms of making sure, you know, trying to get into more something that you enjoy more. But um, as far as this character goes, your character development goes on this, you definitely have a strong character will, and you have the strength card here. And with the strength card is usually about like you have this woman, you know, petting this lion here, but you know, she's able to tame this lion in a way where she's using her love and her compassion and not really her actual brute strength. And that's kind of how you deal with things here too. Um, that you use more of your spirituality and your logic to get to beat through down some tough things. You know, let me, gosh, universe, what can you give me some information about the guy? Give me some info about the guy here. The guy, the guy, the guy. So if I was to relate this to your boyfriend, I feel that he's the type of person that likes to live in the life of luxury. You have the Nine of Earth here. He's kind of a show off. Um, and he finds that not really funny, but he really enjoys image. I feel because the reason why I say that because we have here the Six of Fire. Um, the Six of Fire is about you know a victory, a pop in circumstance kind of thing, right? We show the guy here, um, swords, six. No, it's not even in here. Oh no, I'm in the wrong one. Wands. Here it is. So like we see here the person with the Six of Fire, um, that he is receiving recognition, but I feel like that he's not getting enough recognition, despite the fact that he really like an extrovert, like he really lives that life of luxury. He really enjoys showing off that image to people to really put himself on a pedestal. And I say that because we look at this Sun card here. I mean, even though the Sun card in the Major Arcana doesn't look anything like what I have here, um, just and I want to show this to you just to kind of demonstrate this. This is what the Sun card looks like, right? We show a child on a horse with a flag, and this kind of maybe in terms of putting the pedestal wording that I said it was going to be, you know, we show this kid showing bearing everything about himself, right? Carefree. But if I was to look up the um, let's see here, angel card. Here we go. This is what the Sun card looks like, just to get a better view. Um, this right here, we show this guy standing literally on top of this wall here, right? I mean, it is about happiness and things like that, but I feel that as it's more like he is happy about the fact that he does live the luxury life, or he tries to kind of present that life outwards. But I feel that he puts himself like on a pedestal. Like he needs to be known, he needs to be seen. He goes into the room and he really makes himself known, and then um, he doesn't get enough recognition. So as far as intent goes, now that I have a better idea of what he probably is, and this is what you just said, that's true. He has quite an ego. So um, I think he's empty inside. I think his intentions are. This is actually kind of making a strange sense here. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, first of all, let's backtrack here for a second. We have this card here. We have the Ten of Water and the Five of Water, right? This right here is about the happiness in your life, right? And you have this Five of Water, which is reversed, which means that you don't really dwell on issues either. Like if it's spilled milk, you're just like, okay, whatever, just clean it up and the day moves on. And you're super happy. You're content with, you know, with your, your accomplishments, your spirituality of who you are. You're happy about yourself. And that's what I'm getting with this Ten of Water here. And this Five of Water when I was talking about earlier that it was more like a character reading. Now, because I'm asking the universe to give me something about this intention of this person, the boyfriend, I feel that I feel that he kind of draws upon you to give him the attention that he's looking for, because he doesn't get it from his friends. He doesn't get it when he puts out that lavish lifestyle look to people. Maybe he does it on social networking or Facebook or whatever, but he does. He feels that he's not creative, and you have here the Knight of Earth, which is the Knight of Pentacles, and he's not really taking charge of, you know, what's important to him, of the physical things that's important to him. And with this renewal card, which is also known as the not really justice, but it's about I think actually it's named justice in the major arcana. But pull this up here real quick because they renamed it in the angel deck, and I keep forgetting what's labeled here. There it is, judgment. Um, so the judgment card, it shows an angel blowing his horn to wake up the dead, and the dead is looking to be received into heaven. Um, I think he's looking for. I really feel that he's using you in a way. See, I'm not exactly sure about his feelings for you. I mean, it could be a totally completely different story, but I feel that he needs you to give him the feeling that he wants. We have this renewal here, right? Um, and it even says here on the bottom of this card, which I usually don't read often, but it says here review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. Time to move on in a new direction. So I feel that with this card here, this renewal card, which is like the judgment card here, um, it's almost like he uses what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like you get an Xbox, and I'm sorry for this terminology. You get an Xbox, but in order to make this Xbox feel new and good and to continue enjoying it, you have to get a game for it, a new game for it, right? So I feel that um, with you in his life, he's able to get what he wants out of this Nine of Earth and the Sun. So before he probably said, "Oh yeah, I'm totally living the life," but now I have this girlfriend and I look even better. And then, but it's not creative for him. He's not creative enough to make himself really stand out properly because he just doesn't move forward with what he really needs to do to take care of himself. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Like he really looks to you because there's probably some jealousy here too, for that matter, because the fact that this is you right here, he doesn't have this within him. I mean, there's other cards that can represent this, but between you and him, you're actually happy with yourself, and I don't think he is happy. I mean, he's probably, I'm not saying he's not happy with the relationship, but there's definitely an emptiness within him, and he's probably using you to help fill in this gap. You know, maybe there's something missing within him, and then he feels that he has you to fill that in, but um, it's not there. And if I was to pull some more cards out here before I give you some answer cards, oh yeah, oh yeah. So look at this. Where did I put my stick here? Four of Water. Um, Four of Water is about having it's so the Four of Water is about how can I say this? It's almost like you're bored with the things that you know or the things that you desire. Like usually a divine figure is keeps on providing you these cups, right? Um, and this is what the picture looks like in the Rider Waite deck. Cups, right? So this divine figure keeps on handing him these cups, but he's just laying them out in front of him, and he just looks super super bored. Then we have the Seven of Earth. The Seven of Earth is about um, taking in what you worked hard for, right? So Pentacles, and you are right here. You go. So the person worked really hard for and therefore is now receiving the fruits of his labor. So he's now able to to plan ahead. He's able to take benefit of his hard work. But there's no hard work here. There's no plans either. It's not about boredom either. I feel that he's just really off put here. That again, I feel like I mentioned earlier that he's missing something about himself, and now we're touching on to his emotions here. We're touching on the fact that he is missing something, that maybe this current life or this current thing going on here with this Nine of Earth um, and the other card, the Sun card, you know, that that's not what he really wants, but he's been led into that. And then we have the Six of Air. The Six of Air is about baggage, um, but it's a reverse though. And the thing is, if we look at this, the swords here, that's what it is, Six of Swords. There it is. The Six of Swords is, hey Shabana. The Six of Swords is, we show this person in the boat. A guy's rowing the mother and a daughter, and she's looking kind of gloomy there. And ahead is land. There's like a new opportunity there, right? And it's within reach. Um, and we also see some other symbols here. We see some rocky waters right here at the bottom right, but ahead is smooth water, and then of course we have the swords inside the boat, which symbolizes her baggage, right? But the Six of Air is upside down, so this is indicating that he definitely is harboring some baggage here. He can't move on. What did you just say here? Um, I don't think he's happy with his past. That kind of flows with what we have here. We have here that you know he's not working really hard, or maybe he didn't work hard for his life. Therefore, he has no plan. He wasn't able to come up with a plan. He doesn't like the lifestyle that he puts himself into, and he has baggage here, and he's not able to escape it. I'm gonna draw three more other detail cards, and then I'm gonna give you some answer cards here. I think the universe just gave me answer cards, not detail cards, because we have these things upright here, and these are definitely answer cards. Because usually when I do answer cards, I always make sure that they go upright, but this one doesn't talk about some details. I think this talks about maybe more like some of the details that turns into answers. With that said, he really needs balance. We have the Six of Earth here, which is usually about giving the giving the charity. That's kind of like what the story is about. Like you're giving charity, but you're being very balanced about your finances to where you're able to give. Um, it's not about you giving. I think you give enough to him. I think it's what he needs to give. He needs to give himself um, more credit to himself. I think he needs to bring balance to himself. Then we have the Queen of Fire. Now, this is really interesting because you said here that he's not happy with his past, but when we look at the Queen is about compassion, forgiveness, love, connection, and with the fire is the passion, right? So, um, putting the Queen of Fire together, or at least the Queen of Wands, that's showing type of courage and whatnot. But the Queen, I believe this is really communicating to me here in a different way, not about what the Queen of Fire is about or the Queen of Wands is about, but this guy needs a new type of love from you, and he doesn't want to say it. He needs balance, and he needs like some type of forgiveness. Probably not from you, but he definitely needs to see forgiveness maybe within himself, perhaps, or with whatever he's dealing with. Um, and what type of love? The love I'm thinking right here that you need to give him is more like, I want to say motherly love. That's why I was talking about here about the queen, because the queen's about compassion, right? And if we look at the Empress card is about a person who provides a love of a mother. Um, do you know if he had any problems in his family, particularly his mom? Because I mean that's the kind of the key word that I'm seeing here with this Queen of Fire here. Um, see if I can get more details here. I feel that he's sneaky. I feel that he's very sneaky. Um, and I say that because I just drew these cards here. Um, and I think he's also a huge like romantic. I think that's what kind of maybe turns you on about him. That he's very he really takes charge within the emotions and of the relationship. Hi Shabana. Yeah, we'll definitely have a reading for you. Just let me finish up with Beatrice here. Please don't type your question in the chat. We'll definitely have a way of coming at this. Um, hmm. And it's not motherly love that he needs. Because maybe it's not the fact that he has problems with his mom, but the thing is, the love that he needs though is about, I don't know, something a little bit more forgiving or compassionate. Um, Maybe he hasn't gotten any. Um, Something here about balance though. Oh, I think I know what it is. Like, okay, so it falls back again to this. You're super, super happy. What was he thinking about? I'll definitely get to that in just a second because that was kind of um, nothing bad, but I think it's kind of like a playful sneakiness with you because it's paired with the Knight of Water, which is taking charge of emotions and things like that in a good way. But I'll get back to it in a second because you do have one that's reversed. But looking at this Ten of Water and this Five of Water, I think this is the key thing about you. is that that you are super grounded about your emotions and how you feel, and that sort of like, you know, before he walked into your life, you were super content, you were super happy, you had friends, you had family, you had like um, a spiritual wealth about you. Now the thing is, I don't think he's feeling that. Not from you, but just with himself. And I think he needs like a type of support to bring him to the same level as you are, where you are happy and you have this spiritual balance about yourself. But I don't think he has a spiritual balance about himself. You know, like he definitely has morals. He probably definitely has a type of faith and stuff like that. But it's really not grounded. Because I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I've been getting a lot of Earth cards here, um, and I think with that said, I mean, a lot of these Earth cards are about you, but none of them are about him, and he needs to get more Earthbound. And by that, it's like giving him the opportunity to where um, he can feel like this completeness about him, like emotionally or not emotionally, but like spiritually. I don't think he's happy because again, like that whole living luxury lifestyle and stuff like that. That kind of like what probably anchored him into this corner where he's just feeling that emptiness, and what he really needs is balance, balance of his earthly possessions, and that could be knowledge, that could be his brain perhaps, and physical balance and stuff like that. But he needs some tender loving care. He needs some type of compassion to show him another side of his emotions. And by that, and I think you're the key to that. Because we have the lover's card here, and you're probably the key to that to where you can help him see that light. Now, looking at the sneakiness here real quick, I only say sneakiness because we have the seven of air, which usually it's like trying to take advantage of the situation at all costs, right? We show this person here. Oh, that's a five. I need seven. Seven, seven, seven. There it is. We show this guy being kind of sneaky, stealing these swords to take advantage of the situation. And it looks like there's tents in the background. We got maybe some soldiers here over here, um, kind of like camping out, maybe eating and just talking amongst themselves. But what all this is going on, and they probably have war by tomorrow. This guy's coming by and stealing their swords, trying to make the advantage towards him. That's what the seven of swords is about, or at least seven of air. Um, the five of air, which is one I just popped up a second ago. Um, the five of air is sort of like the same thing in a way, but you are um, taking advantage of the situation to kind of put it into your favor again. But instead of being sneaky about it, like people are kind of distracted, right? Now, with this five of air, it's not really much of distraction. I know I'm going off screen here, but it's just that um, he definitely plans a lot of things. Um, at least with the seven of air, um, he definitely does some type of planning. Um, and he kind of sneaky about his planning and stuff like that. And I think it actually kind of complements this Knight of Water here because I feel like that he likes to surprise you with his romantic side. And he's sneaky about it, and you don't see it coming. And sometimes they're bad ideas, I think, but I think that's kind of why you love him a lot. Because the fact that it kind of brings like a spontaneousness about him, and the fact that even if they weren't good ideas, um, they at least they were ideas towards you. Um, but yeah, I think that's a really good quality about him. And I think that's why, and it's funny here because we have this Lover's card and this Knight of Water here, right above each other, and I think that's what you love about him. You love about him because the fact that his way of thinking about how he treats you in your relationship, it's it's just it really like I said, let me backpedal. The way how he surprises you, even though they're really bad ideas sometimes, um, they're still very loving from you because again, you have this 10 of water and this 5 of water. If this, even though they're bad ideas and maybe didn't go as well, um, you don't cry over spilled milk, but you do definitely enjoy yourself still. Do you think the cards indicate that we are compatible? Um, there's a lot of Earth cards coming up with you, right? And you just said that he is Earth sign, so there's probably some compatibility there. Um, your sign, I feel, looking and basing off some of these other cards that I'm getting here, um, you're in between the wand and the sword, or at least the fire and the air. But I think you're more passion than the air card. Like you're more of a fire element based on these cards. Now I'm kind of getting scattered here, but um, I feel that you are more of a fire element, um, which does complement. I mean, usually if you put fire with earth, um, uh, sometimes that can cause destruction, but um, you are an air sign. Well, there were some couple of air cards here about you, and the passion definitely complements air. So if you're adding, because air added to fire creates the passion to become even bigger. But um, I still think that you have, this fire element within you because the earth and the fire cards are definitely compatible. You have the earth providing like wood, for example, to a fire, right? Um, therefore, it causes to you know to not blow up, but just like to make that fire grow. Um, let's see here, compatibility. I have 7, 14, and 4. So I just pull like a yes and no question here on these cards, and I have 2 positives out of 3 um, cards. So this is kind of pointing towards yes with your compatibility, but there is some work involved. At least that's my intuition on this. Um, and to kind of push some of these cards away, to kind of put some clarity here, I want to show this to you. Okay, so these were the answer cards that I got from the deck, and these two represent you. I can get into view here. There we go. There we go. So he needs to get to this level with you in order to and I think that's what he's looking for. Um, what he really needs is balance in his life, and in order to obtain that balance, there needs to be. There's probably a side of you that he hasn't experienced yet in terms of your emotions, and I think this is probably what you need to kind of help him see that, to kind of get this aha moment about himself and about what he can do. Because again, looking at these two cards, actually this 5 of water is reversed. Um, looking at these other 2 cards here that I have for you, again, you have the 10 of water and you have the 5 of water reversed, which means that you don't cry over spilled milk. You don't cry over stupid situations. You just kind of just carry on, and you're super happy about yourself, and you always look at the brighter side of things. He needs. I think that's what he needs. Um, I have a question for you though. what I mean, what kind of intention do you think he probably had with you? Like, what made you think that there was some type of intention that he wants from you? There might be a little delay here too, but um, the thing about this is that there's going to be another side of love that you can give him, and it'll be new to him, and it will bring him balance. If you can make him the same as you in terms of, you know, bringing on a genuine happiness, not like, oh, I am happy, I'm super happy and stuff like that. Like, people can always say that they're happy. It's about being genuinely happy about themselves, their spirituality. He's always bringing up the past and looking at things negatively. He's also stubborn sometimes, but there's some qualities that I do like about him, which I definitely see, because there was that part I mentioned about where he, that sneakiness, that playful sneakiness that makes him super romantic. And I think that's the part that you really like about him. I try to help him and I talk to him, but he can be really stubborn. Yeah. Um, balance. He needs balance. That's where the issue is, and there needs to be a side of compassion that he hasn't experienced before to help break that stubbornness, because he's not he you know he's probably stubborn because he can't probably stand the fact that you're actually genuinely happy no matter what. But if you were to leave him, right? Let's just say, I'm not saying you need to leave him, but let's just say that your relationship breaks up, right? Or you're no longer in his life, then he's going to be back down to this emptiness about himself. And then he won't be able to carry on, you know, like a plan for his life. Unlike you, where you actually do have a plan. Well, I'm gonna get my Raider weight deck, and I'll just do a quick answer. I think he's actually a pretty good match, but if you want to stay with him, there is some work involved, and that's what this is about right here. There needs to be a new side of emotion coming from you that he's never experienced it before, and that's what this emotion that you have here. And I don't think you shared it with him. This spirituality that you have, um, and so forth. And for that matter, I don't think you've even shared it. Maybe even shared tarot with him. Like you probably talked to tarot with him before. He probably just like kind of like brushed like you actually believe in that stuff. Like, that's a type of spirituality. You're already talking about the universe and stuff like that, and I don't think he's on that same level with you. And you use the universe to keep you happy, and that's what he needs. He needs a connection. He needs balance to get him to that same level as you are. And let me just pull some quick three cards here. Hmm. So it's funny. I pulled out a yes no card to see if he's in love with you. Um, so take this with a grain of salt. I got all three odd numbers here, um, which usually indicates it means no. But you know this can go in so many levels. And the thing is, I just don't want to be the bearer of bad news, or nor do I want to say that this is actually the thing, and you want to base your decision off this. Um, but what I am saying though, you know, he needs to see a side of you, because the thing is, I think you want to stay with him, you know, and if he's telling the truth, let's see here. I just pulled this out right now. He definitely sees this as you, the world card, almost like you're his world kind of thing. Um, I wouldn't dwell too much on the fact if you're a good match for him and stuff like that. you could definitely put this as a note that maybe this is just something that you know that if you can't continue to deal with his stubbornness, then you probably definitely move on. That's just um, about logic, and I'm on the fence about things, but he wants to stay with me. Um, that's kind of it's funny you just said that because I drew out this card, right? He says he wants to stay with you because he sees you as a huge asset in his life. You know, I said earlier that um, he lived this lifestyle of the luxury lifestyle, and then you came into his life, which up his level in a way to where he can then say, "Oh yeah, I'm this totally perfect and happy dude, and now I got a girlfriend. It makes me even more cooler looking." Um, and then therefore he can kind of like show you off and stuff like that. That's kind of what this card is. I think is saying, and because I said that earlier. And the thing is, he's empty. He doesn't have that balance. Again, I keep coming back to this one. Um, he's he needs the balance. He needs to see a new passionate side of emotion because there is a boredness. Because I did have that the Four of Cups appear for him, right? And um, there is something stagnant about the way how he feels, not about you, but just maybe the stubbornness is just about him being unhappy, and he's stubborn because he sees that you're happy, he sees that you get clarity, and that you're able to connect with so many things, and you have like this balance and stability with yourself and your emotions, but he doesn't have that, and you can be the key for him. You can be the key to where you provide that passion for him, of being, connecting on a whole new level. Because if you did that, if he was to get into that whole new level, then of like spirituality, this would actually probably break the chain with him. Like it'll probably break the stubbornness within him to kind of open up some more. Because that stubbornness is because he's not he's not getting he's not stable. He's not leveled out. You feel that he doesn't love you but sees you as an asset. I mean, that's kind of what I mentioned earlier. Like before he was looking at himself as, I'm this huge superstar because I live this life of luxury. And now that I have this girlfriend, I'm even cooler looking. Now I'm this perfect guy who has, a girlfriend. So give me this attention. I did mention that, and um, if you're actually saying, if I'm not sure if you're basing what you're saying, he doesn't love me, but he sees you as an asset. I'm not sure if you're basing that off your own feelings or based on my cards. I mean, I did pull out those three cards that the yes and no based on his love for you, which shows um, um, he definitely has I don't know if he puts you on a pedestal. He puts himself on a pedestal. Oh, okay. So this is what I'm getting at with the cards. He and we'll go through this story here for a second because I have Shabana who also wants to get a reading too. Before he met you, he was sort of like you know Mr. Popular. That's a better way of putting it about it. Now, uh, because he probably wasn't getting that popularity, he managed to run into you and you guys clicked. Everything seems really great. He's a great guy. Not saying that he's bad, but he does have you as sort of like not like a trophy wife or something like that, but just like, oh, I'm Mr. Popular, but now look at me. My life is even cooler looking, and I'm living this life of luxury, and I'm super happy because now I have a girlfriend. And then some people I don't know if you ever had that feeling before where you see other couples like on Facebook or something like that, and you kind of be like almost envious. And I think that's kind of like what he looks for. He kind of thrives on people's enviousness on him, and the fact that he has a loving girlfriend. and that he lives that luxury lifestyle look that um it can kind of look like that he's using as a person on a pedestal, but